How's it going, everybody? It's me, Shane. I'm here to give you another Rurouni Kenshin 2020 episode review. Today's episode is indeed episode 2020. Yeah, episode 20. Entitled Meiji Swordsman Romantic Story, Act 0, Part 1. Before I go any further, please do not forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be notified of more videos like this. And if you are so inclined, my Patreon is right there in the description. Please feel free to donate however you see fit. Even if you're just here just to watch the video and you don't donate, I still deeply appreciate every last one of you. We're trying to grow the channel, and we're definitely going to do that. So, this episode starts off pretty... It's interesting. We don't get a lot of moments where Kenshin's able to just kind of kick back. And in the present day, he's having some really fine tea. He's able to taste it and enjoy it. And that just reminded me something I didn't put in here. He's able to enjoy it. And, Megumi's with the crew, and she says, I'm sure you've had all sorts of different teas by traveling. He's like, didn't really have time to sit down and enjoy tea as a wandering samurai. But Sonosuke wants to hear an unusual story. Megumi wants to hear a fun one. And what's our kid called? Yahiko, who sips his tea like this, wants to hear of a story where he defeated a villain. And Kaoru just says, hey, don't trouble Kenshin. Don't trouble her, man. But he says, I got a story to tell you, right? And this is the story as he's traveling about in Yokohama, which apparently, after the Bakumatsu era, Yokohama was pretty much a hub for like foreigners, gaijin, giant port place. Excuse me. It became, how do I put it? It became a centralized hub. We got some good lessons in there too. When they visited Settlement 39, Hepburn missionary had popularized medicine in Japan, translated the Bible, and you should know Hepburn, right? Whenever you look up anything about an anime or Japanese things in general that have titles, they show you the Romaji, the Kanji, and the Hepburn. And the Hepburn is to be like, yeah, this is the English version, but they call it Hepburn because he is the guy who went about translating things. Actually has a school founded in his name down over there. There's the curved dock called Elephant Nose, the Yokohama Yokohama train station. Eki is Japanese word for station, train station. First train service in Japan. And was it 5 years? I think it was the first one made in 5 years. RP Bridges, he built the station. As a matter of fact, the station, it was drawn on many ukiyo paintings, so that it's a pretty big deal. This area is very much loved by Dankichi, who is the character that that Kenshin runs into. He's a rickshaw driver for a doctor called Dr. Elder. I'm going to be completely honest with you. You can hear voice actors and look at characters and kind of put two and two together, such as Yahiko. Yahiko is voiced by a woman, obviously, because he's a young boy. Typically, women make the perfect voices for teenage boys. I don't know why we don't get more male VAs to play young boys, but that's a topic for another video. This character has a feminine voice. You kind of look at the way the character's drawn. You notice that the character is a Westerner. They tell you, especially with the way I do greatly enjoy this, because there's a character that speaks in English with a message for Dr. Elder. That's the name of the character. And so this is an international hotel, and his English is kind of, it sounds like a Japanese person trying to speak English, but Dr. Elder, her Japanese seems very baseline, like very, I learned it. I'm not a native speaker. And I like how the voice actress did that. That's pretty fun. But yes, Kenshin gets caught up when he gets almost run over. The doctor goes to help this woman. This woman who is sick. She's just dropped in the streets. But unfortunately, there's this evil guy called Dian Ishizu. Mr. Ishizu brings up the point that Western medicine around there it's starting to flourish. It's the biggest thing. saving people and all this. But if you have someone doing it for free, such as Dr. Elder, it's going to mess up the market price. So that's the whole thing. He only cares about the bottom line. His goons with him are just, they're goons, right? One of them even knocks Dankichi down. And to my understanding, it's like, oh, they're going to threaten to beat her up. No, they're not going to threaten to beat her up. What they're going to do is they're going to beat up the sick woman till she's so badly hurt you can't treat her. They don't care if she dies. His whole theory is only foreigners and rich people should get treated, which is, yeah, pretty much kind of like how American healthcare system is, isn't it? No, I have to clear my voice. I would never call for that. It's kind of like American healthcare system. Just putting it out there. And the woman has a kid too. Like Dankichi's good with kids, so you're seeing how nice of a guy he is. He does have a funny quirk about him, but we'll get to that in a second. Kenshin obviously steps in. He's able to dodge these guys' attacks. He literally walks on top of their heads, and the one who has the giant combo, the giant spiked mace, he can't even hit Kenshin. But Kenshin gets the doctor because the guy, Dankichi, gets the sick mom and the kid, and they go off. They go into the doctor's hotel room. And of course, the evil bad guy's like, oh, you got a bodyguard? Well, I got a plan for that. Obviously, he's going to hire somebody. That's what a lot of the villains in Rurouni Kenshin, at least this series and these early episodes, they seem to be like, I'm going to hire somebody to do my dirty work. Sheesh. And so we get to the room. The doctor's obviously healed her. They're going to go and chill out now. The guy offered Kenshin a ride. And Kenshin's like, well, man, you got the doctor here doing freebies. You're going to do free rides. And we get a funny moment where the guy goes, oh, no, if you don't pay for this ride, the only trip you'll be taking is to the police station. And Kenshin goes, I'm a wandering samurai. I'll just walk. But no, Doc wants to at least treat him out to tea. Remember, this is very much a foreign-friendly place. As a matter of fact, the saying that Dankichi tells us is that if you're in Edo for 3 years, you're a citizen of your native Edo. If you're in Yokohama for 3 days, you're a native of Yokohama, apparently. So yeah, I guess this is how friendly this place tries to be, at least towards foreigners, at least. And so they go back. They go to this. I thought it was a hotel, but they go back to this place. Nice little tea garden. There, the door is held open by some strange man with a Western sword, and he notices Kenshin's sword, and Kenshin notices his sword. Obviously, he's going to be the guy he has to fight next episode. Spoiler. Which is it's interesting, very interesting. I didn't mention earlier, people have been obviously Meiji era, so everyone's going crazy about Kenshin having this sword. Just like, you can't walk around with that, and gets threatened with the knife by the bad guys. He beats people without pulling the sword out. Even Kenshin's like, this isn't technically a regular katana, but whatever. So they have the tea. Kenshin, eats some of the sweet confections. Very Western style tea party with black tea and things of that nature. And Kenshin can't really taste how great the tea is, especially when the doctor explains some of the things that go into it. She says, you're exhausted. And he's like, I don't feel tired. Even then, he's like, well, you did kind of fight. She goes, no, you can smell the flowers, but you can't taste the tea. The problem is that you are mentally exhausted. And she's right. I mean, this is probably the part where Kenshin's like in the middle of his journey as a Rurouni. We do get a quick little rundown of who he was. The first part, from 14 to 19, he was a manslayer. For the first half of his career, he was a literal manslayer, slaying all of the men. And for the second half, he was a bodyguard. He was mostly a commando swordsman, protecting his other swordsmen from the shogunate's men, the Shinsengumi. Which is funny because Dankichi says, oh, so you were a swordsman back in the day. You were probably part of the Shinsengumi, a famous guy. And Kenshin spits it out because, no, he was not Shinsengumi. He was eating those guys for breakfast, more or less. So, yes, this doctor, very nice. When Rickshaw man had broken his foot, she did the work for free, didn't charge him. I'm saying she because it gets confirmed later she's a she. It's very obvious. I was even writing my notes that she's a she. But the guy's trying to figure out a way how to give Kenshin a tour. Kenshin's like, I can't pay for it. So what they do is they're gonna do a rock paper scissors. One person's in the thing, one person's got to pull, and then someone else has to run beside it. Apparently, they get along very well because all three of them get the same thing 4 or 5 times, which each time Kenshin going oral it was hilarious to me at least. So then they draw straws. Kenshin's on the inside, but the doctor's gonna pull it, and the doctor could barely pull it. I think at some point they switch around because she gets tired, and that's why I gave you the history lesson. It was very nice for Kenshin to get to learn this area. And when they get back to the hotel with the letter and everything, right? Kenshin goes to Brink. He doesn't speak English. When he heard Elder, he said, "Oh, Elder." He's like, "Yes, Dr. Elder." Stumbles in as she's getting ready for the night, which is funny because when she takes her shoes off, he's like, "You got significantly smaller." And he's like, "Oh no, it just kind of looks like that." Then she tries to tell a lie that Westerners regularly change their genders. And she's like, "I'm sorry, that's a lie. I'm actually a lady." And she's going to explain next episode why she was hiding her gender. It's going to be a simple one, guys. This is 1800s, right? They didn't respect women being anything other than a housewife and barefoot. So I'm not even surprised. Look up your history. Not even Western history. Look up Japanese history. Things like female samurai, the Sozens, like those warrior samurais, those warrior priestess, those folks were special. The fact that they were able to achieve those levels and break through barriers. So her being a female doctor in this time period, it's a big deal. It's probably a reason why she has to hide it. Granted, she's blonde and she's wearing a semi-plagued doctor's mask. She looks like Loki. She looks like Loki from Persona 5. I can't remember his actual real name, but she looks like that guy. And even when Kenshin first sees her, he's like, "That's so suspicious looking, man. Yokohama. If that's not suspicious in Yokohama, you guys are crazy. You guys are crazy different." Which a native goes, "No, that's still pretty suspicious looking." So you have a guy with red hair and a cross-shaped scar with a sword out when he shouldn't have one, and an obvious Westerner with blonde hair and a crow's mask. The episode ends up ending off where the evil bad guy I told you, he hires people. We knew that the person was going to be hired was going to be the guy with the Western sword that looks like he has a drill. Technically, he is working for the person who the guy's talking to. And it's crazy because they're able to look up in the book and say, "Oh yeah, this dude was from the fighting of the Bakamatsu with the cross-shaped scar, Hikitori Batosai." And I'm thinking to myself, Diane Ishizu. You cannot be so full of yourself. Your head cannot be so far up your own ass about making money from people when it comes to being a doctor. Or should I say, wanting someone to not perform things pro bono. Your head so far up your own ass, you're not thinking, "Oh man, Hikitori Batosai, wasn't it like a guy that killed a lot of people?" You guys are going to get messed up. But I'm looking forward to a good battle, but you guys are going to get messed up. The guy that shows up, I don't even know if I got his name. His name is Espelar. Oh man, I take great notes. Oh, thank you, Past Shane. Dude's name's Espelar. He came to Japan because he wants to fight a samurai. Same dude opened up the door for them and let them through when he was noticing the blade. He was happy that he came here. He's still happy now. And he kind of breaks down who the samurai are. Calls them prideful berserkers that will gut themselves to show that they are innocent, to prove their innocence. They're world famous at this point. And so he cannot wait. And I'm just like, man, you are messing with the wrong dude. But he has a point. They are prideful berserkers. That's such an interesting, I don't want to call it weird, but at the same time, it's so weird. It's so interesting that I'm to show you how serious I am that I'm innocent. I'm going to cut myself open, present my guts, and then I die. Bleh. Whereas you could just live with the shame, prove yourself another way, because once you're dead, you can't really do anything else. And a lot of folks are so corrupt that they're probably like, "Oh yeah, well, who cares?" And it's hilarious because once again, in Rurouni Kenshin, this may be a story that happened in the past, but it's yet another bad guy who's it's just corruption. We don't get a lot of fighty bad guys. I mean, you got Rajuta, but Rajuta was like a wannabe, right? Had the skill, but didn't have the heart. Mr. Wannabe Manslayer guy. So yes, obviously the second episode is going to be um, Meiji Swordsman romantic story Act Zero Part Two. I'm hoping that I get a long fight. This series of episodes, I don't remember them playing out in the original. When I looked up episode 20 to match with episode 20 of 1997, that was doing the Rajuta stuff. And then we get like a train episode. I don't remember any of that. So I'm in uncharted territory, but I'm enjoying that this is how we're presenting Kenshin's past, right? We're showing some of the things that he's done, showing his character, showing that he's still, he's still carrying that weight of being a manslayer much more heavily when he's alone, that he's got tons of mental exhaustion. Pretty good. Well, it's good stuff. It's enjoyable. I give it a 3.5 out of 5. Not just barely average. I'm enjoying the history lesson. I'm loving that they're doing this in these episodes. I'm loving the history lesson, and I'm learning I'm loving the layers of this, where it's like, okay, these are some of the people that has met over his time, and this is kind of how he's grown from this tired samurai who just wants to protect people and finally learning to love himself. That's the ultimate goal of this series, is to see him finally come at peace with himself and love himself. So this is part of that journey. That's why I get to 3.5. It's not oh my god. I'm hoping next week is like oh my god, 4 out of 5, maybe 5 out of 5. Yay. But this wasn't bad. It was enjoyable. Still don't understand why people see that cross-shaped scar and don't run away. Like, you know who he is. You know what Hikitori means. Why are you still fully yourselves? But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Please leave a comment, hit the like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can be notified of more reviews just like this one. And if you feel so inclined, go ahead and subscribe to my Patreon. We're trying to build the channel up. Anything that you choose to donate, greatly appreciated. Even if you don't, right? Even if you made it to the 17-minute and 32-second mark here, you are still very much appreciated. I appreciate each and every last one of you. All right. Please be good, be blessed. Have a good weekend. Enjoy your holiday season. Make sure you drink some water. You wash them hands. You be good to yourself. You be good to others. Either way it goes, please don't be a jerk. All right. Stay safe out there, y'all. And just remember that, the holiday season can be rough mentally, spiritually, heck, even physically. That mental stuff can start to weigh on you physically, much how it's weighing on Kenshin in the show, right? So make sure that you reach out to somebody, talk to someone. There are people out there that care about you, people out there that love you. There's people that would rather see you and talk to you today than to miss you and mourn you tomorrow. So reach out to someone. My social medias are in the description below, along with all the other important links. I can't wait to talk about this next episode, because Shinsengumi is coming soon, and I cannot wait. I've been talking about Saito for literally the last 4 to 5 weeks, so I'm excited. Until next time, guys. Oro.